Welcome to Cheaper Than Dirt Videos. I'm the old man, and I'm going to show you in each video special tips that will help you be more efficient to landscaping. Well, I decided to do a review on this Cub Cadet that I've had, I think, for 5 years now, I believe. At least 4, but probably closer to 5. Right now I'm just sharpening the blades on this thing. I bought this jack for $100, and man, it's made it so much easier to work on this deck, get the blades off. But this is a Enduro series XT1. Been really good. You can see the seats seen better days. But all these parts that you need for this are easily available. So when you're mowing and you're going around obstacles, it's usually the left side that you accidentally hit things. I've hit a few roots with this and some boulders, because when you're going around objects, it's usually your left side that you're trying to get close to. That's why I always try to weed eat around the obstacles first, but you still end up hitting stuff. So this one had a crack right here from me hitting things over the years, and so I got it welded up. And also my deck brackets right here, these all broke off over time, so I had those welded on. And there's one on the other side. Now you got to remember, this mower is out in the weather all the time, so you can see this is a fresh weld here. It's out in the trailer, so it spent a little over 4 years being in the weather, so it's held up pretty good. You can see some of the paint starting to come off a little bit, but as long as you continue to clean out underneath the deck and blow all the stuff out from under the mower and keep it clean, you'll be able to avoid moisture from setting and rusting things out. Because I've talked to some people and their decks rust out a lot sooner, and mine's just got just a little bit of rust. It's not too bad, but part of the problem of these brackets breaking loose is the factory welds aren't that good. Plus there's little holes back here which mud and grass gets in there, and so the moisture starts to rust it. So it just got thin over the years, and with me pounding and banging over these acreage properties, I've been doing about 10 acres a week with this thing, and so it takes a pretty good pounding with all the mole holes and all the dips and everything else that's out there. But it's held up really well. I highly recommend this mower. I think I paid $2,250 for it. They were having a sale at Home Depot about 4.5 years ago, and that included the bags, the bagging system. But let's drop this thing. So here's the engine that came with the Cub Cadet, 22 horsepower, plenty of power, works great for me. Haven't had any issues with it. It's got plenty of power. I use this on my acre lots. Any yard that's half acre or more, I try to use this. Does really good clean cuts. I've used this mower to cut grass as high as 6 feet tall. It takes 2, sometimes 3 passes, but it will do it. Of course, it's all side discharging. There's no way you can even come close to bagging something like that, but I mostly side discharge with this, and with the mulching blades, you don't get the long stringing grass coming out the side. The mulching blades do a really good job chopping it up, so you're getting 4 to 5 inch slices instead of foot long pieces of grass coming out. So it looks a lot cleaner when you're cutting really tall grass. So far on this Cub Cadet, in the 4 or 5 years I've had this, the only mechanical issues I've had is this pulley. Let's see if I can get it here. This pulley brake right here, that's a little brake pad. I've just had to replace that about 5 months ago. And what happened was when you disengage the blades, these blade pulleys keep spinning. Very dangerous to have the blade spinning. So I did have to replace the brake pads right here. So when you disengage the blades, those pads will stop the rotation. I did have to replace that. And just recently, this month, I had to replace the drive belt. Let's see if I can get a picture of that. This is the drive belt. Well, shoot. This is the drive belt way up here. See if we can get another picture of it. It's right here. A little difficult to get at, but I mean, it lasted over 4 years, so I guess it was worth the hassle. You can see it's a fairly large gas tank. I can do 5 acres on a tank, so it's pretty efficient. Right here is where your air filter is, and it's probably dirty. Let's see. Yeah, it's got a little bit in there. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna have to replace that, I can tell right now. I just got, the last 2 weeks, I've been mowing some pretty large fields. The grass about 3 or 4 feet tall, and it's dry, so I'm getting a lot of dust getting in the air filter, so I'm gonna change that out. But you can see it's easy to get at. Oil filter's easy to get at. Fuel filter's easy. So it's a pretty simple machine, pretty rugged. I've beat this thing pretty hard. Really rough yards, done a lot of field mowing. Oh, the tires. When I first bought this thing, I had a flat within the 3rd day of having it, because we have a lot of berries, blackberries here, and different kind of thorn bushes, and blackberries put a hole in my tires. So I went down to the tire store, and they put this liquid glue in here. It looked like Elmer's glue. They put a bunch of that stuff in these tires, and I've never had an issue. I can mow berry patches and all kinds of stuff with this, as long as the berries aren't too high. I usually go in and knock them down with my hedge trimmer. Go in and knock all the vines down and just grind it up and mow it up with the mower. And have never had an issue of these losing air since I put that glue in it. So I would highly recommend that. As soon as you buy this, get that stuff put in here, because even a rose thorn will puncture these tires. Real easy to start this lawnmower. Generally starts on the first time, every time, unless it's really cold out. If it's close to freezing out, high 30s, low 40s, it cranks a little bit more. And you got to have your foot pedals down, otherwise it won't start. Alright, here is the original blades that came with the Cub Cadet. You can see how it has a very large lifting edge here. This is really good for bagging. It bags a lot better than these mulching blades. It has a lot more lift. But even with this, I still have problems with the bagging system on here clogging. So I mainly mulch and side discharge with the Cub Cadet. But these are the original blades that come with it. These are the mulching blades that I use. And you can see on this one, I actually have a crack right here. Very dangerous. I'm going to replace this one. If you see something like this, absolutely do not use it, because that piece will break, fly off. You don't know if it's going to hurt somebody, break a window. Plus your blades will be out of balance, and you don't want that, because then you can break spindles and really have some catastrophic issues. So that's definitely a reason to replace that blade. So these are the two different blades that can be used on the Cub Cadet. This one here is the original high lift blade. It works better for bagging. The problem is when you're cutting tall grass, it cuts the grass in one piece, and so you'll get stringers coming out. So if you're cutting grass that's a foot high, you'll have stringers of grass that's a foot long, so it looks like straw laid out all over the lawn. So if you're not bagging, then what you're going to want to use is the mulching blade. What happens is when you're cutting grass at 6 inches, a foot high, these mulching sections here cut that into smaller pieces, so you actually get 3 to 4 inch pieces coming out. So it looks a lot better. But if you're going to bag, I found out that these mulching blades just barely don't give enough lift into the chute, and you get more clogging. But if you're cutting grass that's only a few inches tall, this you can bag with this, no problem. But if you're cutting grass at 6 to 8 inches tall with this is what you're going to want to use to bag. I still have a lot of problems with bagging, because most of my yards I use the Cub Cadet on are acre lots or bigger, and it's just too much to deal with bagging. So I've gone to just mulching, and I just side discharge it. And if you get little piles or rows, you just have to go over it again or hit it with the leaf blower and thin it all out. If you decide to install the mulching plug, make sure you only mulch 1 inch to 2 inches of grass. The mower deck seems to have troubles moving that much material around, so just try to keep it short. If you mow it once a week, you should be good with these. Otherwise you're going to have to side discharge, and if you side discharge, it's best to have mulching blades because it will cut the grass into smaller pieces. This is the mulching plug I use for the Cub Cadet. I paid $25 for this. Works really great. The only problem is this this pin, whatever you want to call it, is a little difficult to get it lined up correctly. And I'll show you what I mean here. I'll see if I can do this one-handed. There's the new blade I just installed. But right. See, I don't think I can do this one-handed. I'm trying to get this pin right here lined up in that hole right there. Is not easy. I'm gonna have to set the camera down. Alright, so I got it in there, but the way that pin is shaped, it's very difficult to get this thing to line up, especially when I'm doing it one-handed. But there we go. And then there's this this piece right here, you need to tuck that in right up into the deck right there. Now it's not fitting right. Hold on. Alright, we got it now. This pin right here is a little difficult. It was keeping it from sliding and locking in, but it's got a pretty good fit. This lip along the deck right here holds that lower portion in place. This little clip right here, you just push it back and it'll fit behind the deck. And then you just line this hole up and you screw this down. And there you go. That's mainly how I keep it. I mostly have the mulch plug in there. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to set up the bagging system on here. Unscrew this. See if we can do this one-handed. That pin right there goes into the hole right here. Let's see if we can, yeah. This tab goes right here. And then you just screw this down. Oh, I'm surprised I was able to do that with one hand. Alright, there's your main piece coming off the side discharge. Alright, and this is the chute. This is the chute that goes into your bags right there. So the grass comes out of the side discharge, up the tubing, and into the bags. And there you go. This locks it down. Used to be a little tab right here, but I accidentally broke that off a couple weeks ago. I dropped a trash can too close to this and broke it. And there you go. That's how quickly you can set up the bagging system. I'm going to put the mulch plug back on and rinse the deck out and show you how easy it is to do that. Another thing I like to do each time I use the Cub Cadet is I like to take the leaf blower and blow out the underneath under here. This your reverse pedal right here, it's actually working a rod that runs along here, and what happens is you get a lot of little pieces of grass and dirt and stuff up in here and your reverse won't work. And it gets way up in there so you can't really see it. So what I do is I blow it out with a leaf blower, and then every once in a while when I clean out the deck with the hose, I'll spray under there and try to clean that out. But basically what happened was when I first got this tractor, within 6 months or so, the reverse wasn't working. I'd push it down and it just wouldn't move. Well, what happened was there's a lot of debris that was back up into that rod there, and I couldn't get it in reverse. So once I cleared that out, everything was good again. So I just wanted to let you know that that's a spot that's very hard to get at. You can't really see what's going on, so you got to blow it out with the hose or the leaf blower just to make sure it doesn't build up in there. Okay, so this part right here screws right onto the end of the nozzle, and the coupling just snaps on right there. I used the hose to wash that out. I had a little bit of debris in there. If you have a mulch plug, make sure that's in. It helps it'll clean out a lot faster. If you don't have a mulch plug, you just gotta let it run a lot longer. I ran this one for about 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. So let's move the tractor out and see what came out. Thank you for watching Cheaper Than Dirt videos. And please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, which helps our small channel be noticed. Thank you.